Hello, my name is Susan, and this is Susan's Southern Cooking. I hope you'll enjoy this. I'm making chili and cornbread. My family said no season is out of bounds for this. We cook it all year long. And I hope you'll give this a thumbs up, and I hope you'll subscribe to my channel. Thank you. So let's get going.
For this recipe, you're going to need 5 pounds of ground beef, 1 whole onion diced, 4 to 6 cloves of garlic chopped, 2 heaping tablespoons of Mexican oregano, a half a teaspoon sugar, 2 heaping tablespoons of cumin, 4 heaping tablespoons of chili powder, a half a teaspoon of red cayenne pepper, a heaping tablespoon of cilantro leaves. You can use fresh, just use a bunch. You'll need seasoned salt to season the ground beef, 2 teaspoons of salt. You'll need 29-ounce can of tomato sauce, a 28-ounce can of crushed tomatoes, a 15-ounce can of crushed tomatoes, a 10-ounce can of the diced tomatoes with the green chilies, a 12-ounce can of tomato paste, and fill that can with water. You will need 2 to 3 cans of beans of your choice. I use chili, kidney, or pinto. Now I used a little olive oil to kind of help the meat not to stick, but you do not have to do this. And you want to get your meat in so that it can brown. Always wash your hands after handling meat. I seasoned my ground beef with seasoned salt, to taste. It's a lot of meat, so it usually takes a little bit of salt, and black pepper. Add in your onion and your garlic. Got to get every last bit. And just let it brown. And I love this handy dandy chopper. It works so well with a hamburger meat.
Sorry about the mouth breathing. I was stopped up when I made this video.
After the meat is browned, you want to drain it because as you can see, it's a lot of fat in there. I pour mine up into a colander and let it drain. After draining most of the fat out, pour it back into your boiler. Carefully. Move it back to the heat. Add your Mexican oregano. Now if you don't have Mexican oregano, regular oregano is just fine. Just use what you have. I crushed it in my hands to try to release that oil to give it more flavor. Meet my son. Adding in my cumin. My chili powder. This is a Mexican chili powder, but you can use whatever you have. My chili was a little spicy. I don't know if it was from this or the cayenne pepper. But you can, or maybe the combination, but you can adjust the cayenne pepper to your taste. We like a little bit of spice. Cayenne pepper. My dried cilantro, and I do like fresh better, but you use what you have. And then 2 teaspoons of salt. My tomatoes, tomato sauce, my son again, and a can of water. Tomato paste makes it a little bit thick, so the can of water helps. And you stir it in good. I forgot to add the sugar, but I did go back and add the sugar. I don't use a lot of sugar. I don't like it to taste sweet, but you want to kind of cut the acid of the tomatoes a bit. Just mix it as well as you can. It's a lot of food there. And you just bring it up to heat to where it's just boiling a little bit. And you will cut it down on low or simmer and cook it for about an hour, stirring throughout. And for my cornbread, I'm making an 8-inch skillet worth of cornbread. So you need a little over a cup of cornmeal, an egg, and whole milk. And you'll need a couple of tablespoons of butter in your skillet to melt so that your cornbread won't stick and to give it flavor. While you're mixing up your cornbread, you can put your pan in the oven to melt, or you can melt it on top of the stove. And you just add your egg, and if you make a bigger pan of cornbread, you can add 2 eggs. Cornbread is very forgiving. You just keep making it until you get it right. And you add enough whole milk to get the right consistency. You don't want it too dry, and as it sits there, it'll dry. You add a lot of milk, you'll get the softer cornbread, but you won't have the crust. So if you want the crust and still be a little moist, you just have to learn to get it the right consistency. You just want it to where it's real smooth without a lot of excess liquid. So you need just a little more. And that's the consistency we like. When I got married, my mom said all I could make was cake and cornbread. So it has served me well over the years. My oven was on 450 degrees. Now that the butter is good and melted and that pan is nice, hot and sizzly, you'll pour your cornbread batter into the skillet. Smooth it out and sprinkle a little bit of that butter on top for flavor. And just put it in the oven. It'll cook for about 14 or so minutes. Of course, the thicker it is, the longer it'll cook. The chili has cooked and simmered for about an hour. Before I add my beans, I'm going to take some of the chili out to freeze. We like chili dogs is good, and we don't necessarily want the beans for that. Or later on we may want chili again, and then we can add the beans later. The Instant Pot is great for thawing out chili and cooking it. And when I cook, I always like to try to cook more than our meal to freeze so that I have something in the freezer too, since it's especially something that takes a while to cook. And I add the beans, juice and all. My husband likes to soak that cornbread in there, so he likes it to be a little saucy. If you don't want to use the juice, you can always drain your beans and rinse them and add a little water. Now let it cook for about 15 more minutes or so while the cornbread is cooking. And it's done. Now I've gotten 2 nice containers of chili for the freezer. I've got my toppings of cheese, onions, and sour cream. And this really looks good, and it tasted good, I must say. Now, the cornbread has a little bit of a hollow sound, and it doesn't have any give when you tap it on top. You can also use a toothpick or a knife to make sure it comes out clean. And it sure looks pretty. And this is the finished bowl with the toppings. Got my cornbread on the side.
I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you'll give this a thumbs up, and I hope you'll subscribe. Ring that little bell. Till next time, bye.